Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors. Then please remain standing as the UW Stevens Point music education major, Shelley Bittner, who receives her Bachelor of Music degree today, sings our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Good afternoon. I'm Bernie Patterson. I have the honor of serving as Chancellor, University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. I welcome you to the 2011 winter commencement exercise. Before we begin, I want to say a special thank you to Shelley Bittner and the UWSP Concert Band Wind Ensemble for their presentation of the national anthem. As I said this morning, if you had a tear in your eye, you weren't the only one in this arena. They did a fantastic job. Let's say thank you. There's another group that I want to acknowledge and say thank you to this afternoon. That's the people that make this happen twice a year. You look around, you think, well, you just put up a stage and bring in the flags and order some flowers and you're done. Actually, it takes 3 days of about 100 staff members working throughout the day and into the evening to make this possible. That effort's led on this campus by Brittany Rossman and the staff in University Relations and Communications, but it reaches entirely across our campus, our facility services staff, our IT staff. They may have the hardest job because we're always worried, will the IT work? But they have done an outstanding job in bringing this opportunity to us today. So let's thank them as well. Well, to the parents and the family and friends of our graduates, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this ceremony. But most of all, thank you for your support of these graduates. Today, we are graduating 594 members of the senior class. And in large measure, they're here, they have succeeded, they have advanced to this point in their life because of your help and your support and your love for them. Graduates, earning a college degree is a milestone in your life, a major accomplishment, but very few of you, I suspect, did this alone. Even those who think maybe you did, I would care to differ. People around you that supported you, that helped you, are here to celebrate with you. Parents sacrificed to help with tuition, and if they couldn't do that, and some couldn't, I guarantee you they had you in their prayers. Husbands and wives often made do with what I call a make-do dinner because you, graduates, were working on a term paper. Younger brothers missed playing games with you, video games, because you had to study. Older sisters missed the time that you shared together because you had to prepare for a test. And your best friends missed hanging out with you because you had to complete that research project that was due. So I think it is fitting that we take a moment to say thank you to these individuals in the most sincere way that we can. So this is going to involve a little audience participation, but I'm going to begin by asking the parents and the step-parents of our graduates to please stand and remain standing. So if you are a parent or a step-parent of one of the graduates this afternoon, please stand up. Please stand up. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. Like the grandparents and great-grandparents to join them. You to stand up. I see people getting up. This is great if you can, if you're able. Brothers and sisters, please stand up. Husbands and wives, please join them. Children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren perhaps. Aunts and uncles, nephews and nieces. Well, all the relatives and supporters of our graduating class, please stand up. Faculty and staff, you help make this happen. Please stand. Please stand. Please stand. Graduates, I want you to look around. I want you to look around carefully in front of you, behind you. Look to your left, look to your right, and then look deep inside yourself and think about all those who helped you make today possible. And take a moment to remember those who cannot be here, those that you so much wanted to see you graduate, but now that's not possible. Let's remember them as well. So graduates, this is your chance to let the loved ones that surround you at this moment know how much you appreciate them. So on your feet, standing ovation. Graduates, up. Up. Let them hear you. Let them hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. And thank you for participating in this. And now, graduates, one more assignment. My wife Cinda, sitting down here in the front, She's the one, as I said this morning, that made sure I got out of the house with matching socks. So there's a lot of people that help make this graduation work and make it possible. But students, I want you to right now, Cinda tells me that I'm probably the most uninformed person about pop culture that she's ever met. But I know this much. I know that you're sitting out there, graduates, with those cell phones, because I saw you when you lined up. And I spoke to several of you. I know you're texting the person 3 rows over, right, about, do you believe what Billy did last night? Right? So get the cell phones out, get them out of your pocket, get them out of your purse, all right? Hold them up. Let me see them. Hold them up, hold them up, hold them up. Yeah, okay. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to send a text message, and I want it to say just simply, Mom or Dad, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And while you're doing that, I'm going to introduce the platform party. You know them all, so you're not going to miss anything. Would you send that message? All right, now, for our guests who haven't met the platform party, let me introduce them to you, the university leadership. And I'm going to begin with Marty Loy over here, the Dean of the College of Professional Studies. Marty, please stand up. Hold your applause, please, till we get through all of the introductions. But Jeff Morin, Dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communications. Greg Deemer, Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs. Al Thompson, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Kathy Binger, Interim Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. And Greg Summers, Interim Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. The remainder of the platform party will be introduced as we move through the program. So please say thank you to these leaders of the university. Thank you. Well, graduates, commencement marks a change in your life. Some things will end, but many new things will begin. Commencement really is a beginning. And you're filled with all kinds of emotions right now. Some sense of sadness, some sense of anxiety, some sense of exhilaration. But most likely, all of these rolled into one. But commencement is a proud time for your parents and your family and your loved ones. And it's also a very proud time for your faculty and staff that helped you along the way, who mentored you, who guided you, who directed you, who taught you. So let's celebrate this event together as we move on with our commencement exercise. So let me now turn to our provost, Greg Summers, who will introduce other distinguished members of the audience and the graduating class. Dr. Summers.
Thank you, Chancellor Patterson, and good afternoon, graduates. It is the outstanding faculty members of our university who are primarily responsible for determining academically who will join the ranks of our graduating class today. I want to thank both our retired and emeritus faculty and staff members and our current teaching faculty and staff members for their leadership and dedication to teaching, research, and community service. Will our retired, emeritus, and current faculty and staff members stand, please, so that we may recognize you? We appreciate your continuing support of UW-Stevens Point. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank specifically the faculty members from the College of Fine Arts and Communication and the College of Professional Studies who are serving as marshals today. Representing our Division of Communication is our Grand Marshal, Professor Bill Deering. Could you please stand and allow us to recognize you? Our faculty marshals today are Gary Olson, Professor of Theater and Dance, and Yasha Steinmetz, Professor of Health Promotion and Human Development. Our student marshals are Lisa Barden, Associate Professor of Education, and Guillermo Penafiel, Professor of Art and Design Photography. David Hastings, Professor of Music and Saxophone, will read the graduates' names, and Diana Black, Associate Professor of Graphic Design, will be announcing today. Thank you all for your help with this ceremony. As part of this occasion, we give special recognition to those students who have truly excelled both in and out of the classroom. And today I am pleased to introduce several groups of outstanding graduating seniors. We will begin with members of our 2011 graduating class who have received the Chancellor's Leadership Award. Will the Chancellor's Leadership Award recipients please stand and remain standing while I comment on the award? The Chancellor's Leadership Award honors those graduating seniors who have demonstrated significant leadership, have provided meaningful campus and community service, and have shown a commitment to personal growth throughout their careers at this university. The names of these outstanding students are listed in the commencement program. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for your leadership. You may be seated. Will Phi Kappa Phi members please stand? Phi Kappa Phi is a national honor society that encourages superior scholarship in all academic disciplines and recognizes those persons of good character who have excelled in scholarship. The names of these outstanding students are also noted in the commencement program. Congratulations to each of you. Members of another group of outstanding students are recognized as recipients of the Academic Honors Award. The faculty has established a program of academic honors to recognize undergraduate students for outstanding academic achievement. Graduation honors are awarded on the basis of the grade point average for all courses attempted. There are 3 levels of academic honors: cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. Will those students graduating with an overall grade point average of 3.5 to 3.74 please stand? These students are graduating cum laude. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will those students graduating with an overall grade point average of 3.75 to 3.89 please stand? These students are graduating magna cum laude. Congratulations to you. Please be seated. Among this afternoon's graduates, there are 11 students at this ceremony who have earned a grade point average of 3.9 or above, a summa cum laude designation. I will read their names in alphabetical order, and please stand as I read your name. Laura Gang, Michelle Kolbeck, Jocelyn Lutz, Courtney Manecki, Matthew Mikulski, Chelsea Needfelt, Courtney Schrouder, Bonnie Schwab, Megan Thays, Ryan Tomsky, and Michelle Totsky. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding students. You may be seated. Please welcome once again Chancellor Bernie Patterson.
Thank you, Provost Summers. We are honored today to have as our winter commencement speaker Mr. Mark Bradley, a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents. A longtime resident of Wausau, Regent Bradley is a shareholder and president of Ruder Ware law firm, concentrating in the areas of advising family businesses, estate planning, and trust administration. He is a co-author of Eckhart's Workbook for Wisconsin Estate Planners and a frequent lecturer on estate planning for continuing legal education programs. Mark began serving on the Board of Regents in 2003 and served 2 terms as its president. He has also served as chair of the Regents Business, Finance, and Audit Committee. He is a member of the National Leadership Council of the American Association of Colleges and Universities and the Marshville Clinic National Advisory Council. He earned his undergraduate degree at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and his law degree from the University of Wisconsin Law School. And he and his wife, Ann, have 4 adult children. Now that concludes the official bio, but now for the rest of the story, Mark. Graduates, you may be meeting Mark Bradley for the first time. But he's known of you ever since you arrived on campus or any part of this university system. Because I don't know of a single individual in this state that has worked harder and has been more dedicated to student success and to higher education than to Mark Bradley. He has traveled all over this state, visiting campuses and working and advocating for higher education. He is a leader, but more than that, he has your welfare center in his heart. I want you to give Regent Bradley a warm welcome to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Patterson. I appreciate your comments. And thank you, members of the faculty and academic staff and parents and honored guests. And thank you especially, members of the graduating class, for inviting me to participate in these ceremonies. You know, I've been thinking a lot about you graduates. As a matter of fact, this morning I was shaving and my wife heard me say, "Ouch!" And she came to the door and she said, "Sweetheart, are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I think I've just been concentrating so much on this speech that I cut myself shaving." Well, my wife has always been my best advisor. And she leaned into the door and she said, "Let me make a suggestion. Why don't you just concentrate more on your shaving and just cut the speech?" Well, don't worry. In the words of King Henry VIII, who said to each of his 6 wives, "I won't keep you long." I'm going to take my lead this afternoon from a visionary leader who once graced the hallways and walkways of this university, Lee Sherman Dreyfus, for whom the Dreyfus Center on this campus was named. After serving as president and later chancellor of this university, becoming president of Century Insurance and then governor of the state of Wisconsin and a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents, Governor Dreyfus became a very successful motivational speaker. My younger brother, James Bradley, who used his undergraduate history degree to become a successful author, met up with Governor Dreyfus in an airport when they were both on the speaking circuit. So there he was, Professor Dreyfus, the former communications teacher, lecturing my brother. "I'm telling you," he said, "from one cheesehead to another, you've got to talk about 3 things and 3 things only. I don't care what the subject is, I don't care who the audience is, you just have to talk about 3 things because that's all they're going to remember." "And do you know why?" he said. "Do you know why they're only going to remember 3 things?" And my brother said, "No, why?" He said, "Because that's all they can remember." So, heeding the advice of Wisconsin's version of the great communicator, I'm going to talk to you about 3 things and 3 things only. 1, I'm going to ask you to forget. 2, I'm going to ask you to remember. And 3, I'm going to ask you to savor a special teaching moment in your time here at UW-Stevens Point. First, graduates, I'm here to tell you, you can forget almost all the specific information that you worked cramming into your brains during your years here at UW-Stevens Point. Now, why do I say that? Because the specific information that you have learned to pass a test is likely to become irrelevant and not be important by the time you get into your career, by the time you even go on to graduate school, or by the time you engage yourself in helping to make society a better place. We live in a rapidly changing world. At the time of Christ, the knowledge base of the world doubled about every 10,000 years. At the time of the American Revolution, the knowledge base of the world doubled about every 1,000 years. And by the time 1900 came around, the knowledge base of the world doubled about every 100 years. 50 years later, though, by 1950, After all sorts of inventions started to develop and technology began to take hold, the knowledge base began to double, and then by 1960, it began to double again. So that today, the knowledge base of the world, the information that you're going to need to be able to do your jobs, doubles in about 18 months. And that leads me to my second point. I just told you to forget about the specifics. And now I want you to remember the big picture. As you leave here, remember why you came here in the first place. It wasn't, I don't think, to cram as much information as possible into your head. You came to this university, I hope, to acquire the knowledge and the skills that will make you fulfilled as a person, successful as an individual, and a contributing member to society. Well, what is that knowledge? What are those skills that are so important? As Chancellor Patterson mentioned, I have the privilege of serving on the National Leadership Council for the Association of American Colleges and Universities. We went to ask the employers around the United States what they're looking for. We talked to heads of small companies, medium-sized companies, large companies, and we said, what are you looking for in our graduates to be competitive in this 21st century economy? Now, in some cases, it's important what major you selected. If you're going into nursing, you probably should major in nursing. If you're going to become a teacher, you're going to have to be in one of the teaching disciplines. But I have good news for the basic liberal arts graduates, the English majors, the people who chose to study history and music and art. According to the people who are doing the hiring, your long-term professional success will depend far more on the fact that by attending a university like the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, you acquired the essential learning outcomes that are necessary for success in this rapidly changing workplace. Listen to what the employers told us. First, they said, they expect you to have the ability to work well in teams, to collaborate, to give them the benefit of a variety of perspectives. Why? Do you think it's because they get a lot of thrill out of seeing you sit around a table getting along with each other? No. It's because it affects their bottom line. Who are the customers of these companies? Well, increasingly, they are people from different parts of the country. They're people who are from different countries altogether. People with different customs, different cultural perspectives, different ways of expressing themselves, different ways of arriving at a solution to a problem. So, if you don't have an appreciation for Chinese courtesy, Mexican machismo, Iranian indirectness, or Swedish subtlety, you just might blow the deal. You could cost your employer money. And that's just the reality of the global workplace. And that's why this university and other campuses around the University of Wisconsin system are dedicated to diversity among its students, its faculty and academic staff, and its campus leadership. That's also why the University of Wisconsin system so strongly encourages a study abroad experience and learning a second language. What we're trying to do is ensure that your educational experience will more closely mirror the reality of your job experience. Now, these employers also told us that they expect you to have an understanding of basic science and technology and how these subjects relate in the real world. Now, whether or not you're a math or a science major, they expect you to have the ability to understand statistical relevancy and just basic scientific relationships. That's why this university requires you to take basic math, maybe a statistics course, even though you may have thought that it was irrelevant to your major field of study. Those courses were not. They're all part of equipping you for a job in a modern economy. These employers also said that they expect you to be able to communicate clearly. Now, they're not interested in your emailing ability, how fast you can text, or how fast you can tweet. And they're not interested in how you might communicate with each other, with your shorthand phrases and your slang expressions. They're interested in your ability to communicate clearly, simple declarative sentences put together in a sensible paragraph that ends to a logical conclusion. And they want you to be able to do that in writing and orally. And that's why this university offered you opportunities to stand up in front of a group of people, explain a problem, and advocate a position, even though you weren't majoring in speech or drama. And that's why this university offered you opportunities to write reports about topics so that a group of people could understand the point you were trying to get across, even though you weren't an English or communications major. These employers told us that they were also looking for people who are adaptable, people who can take the knowledge and information that they have and be able to shift as this rapidly changing world unfolds. Listen to what one CEO said. He said, "We can always provide the technical training people need to work for our company. They don't have to come to us with any particular major. But because our systems and technology are changing so rapidly, we need people who can think and can adapt. And because we move people in and out of offices around the world, we need people who can understand other cultures and appreciate different approaches to problem solving." Remember that rate of change I talked about? Well, the data suggests that people like you graduating now are going to have, on average, about 10 different jobs or careers in your working lifetime. 10. It's a real-world case of Charles Darwin's survival of the fittest. Only those who can adapt will survive and thrive. But if you're a pointer, that's not a problem. And I'll tell you why I say that. As the president of a 45-member law firm with about 80 other employees operating in 2 cities, I happen to work daily with 3 outstanding pointer graduates. The first one is Lon Roberts. The highest paid person in our firm happens to be a pointer. Now, you don't see his name in lights. He's a quiet background guy. But if you looked at the major business deals occurring in central Wisconsin, more likely than not, Lon Roberts is behind those deals, advising the owners of businesses on strategy and how they're going to close the deal. A person whose advice is highly sought after in the central Wisconsin business community. The chief operating officer of our firm is also a pointer. Now, he's not a lawyer. He happens to have a business degree from UW-Stevens Point. And I said to him, "What did you think you were going to do when you graduated from UW-Stevens Point?" "Oh," he said, "I knew exactly what I was going to do. Hospital administration." I said, "Well, you're not administering a hospital now." "No, but that's where I started out. And then I worked for Wausau Insurance Companies, and I was managing 3 HMOs, health maintenance organizations around the state. And then a company bought Wausau Insurance and said, 'John, if you want your job, you're going to have to move to Massachusetts.'" He said, "I didn't want to move to Massachusetts." So I had to take my bundle of skills. I had to take my ability to adapt and walk my resume around companies that had nothing to do with hospital administration and nothing to do with HMOs. So in a competitive process, he ended up being our chief operating officer. He is responsible for tremendous organization and business success of our firm. Third person, Diana Resch. I said, "Diana, when you went to UW-Stevens Point, what did you think you were going to do?" "Oh," she said, "I knew exactly what I was going to do. Med tech." I said, "Well, you're not a med tech now." No, I got to be a sophomore at UW-Stevens Point, and I fell in love with history and social studies, and I decided that I was going to commit myself to being a teacher. I said, "Well, you're not a teacher now." "No, but I started out being a teacher." Well, my husband has a large dairy farm, and as I kept working with the accountants and with the attorneys, I said to myself, I can do that kind of work. So I packed up and I went to paralegal school. And then on a competitive process, she became a paralegal at our firm. She now is one of the top people in the firm responsible for very important client relationships and making sure that we deliver the best service possible. She is one of our top paralegals. So as you can see, these essential learning outcomes that our employers are looking for don't have anything to do necessarily with specific information that you may have learned to pass a test. But they have everything to do with how your mind works, how you assemble information, how you analyze that information, and how you explain your conclusions and advocate recommendations. So as you prepare to leave here, remember why you came here in the first place. Finally, I want you to think about some special teaching moment that you particularly savor from your experience here at UW-Stevens Point. You know, any university can have classrooms and laboratories and computers, but the differentiating characteristic of this institution and any other happens to come from the quality of the faculty and academic staff who have dedicated their lives to making you better. And if you're better, our society is better. Now, if you have been at a different university, you know how special the faculty and academic staff at this institution are. And as you go to a different institution, if you're going to continue your studies, I guarantee you, you will look back and you will reflect on how special the faculty and staff at this institution have been for you. Now, there are lots of rules at a university, but there is no rule that says you cannot write a thank you card to some professor, some person on this campus that made a difference in your life. You can savor a special teaching moment. Now, as for me, the special teaching moment that I savor happened to have occurred in my freshman year. I was taking an introductory zoology class. Now, for me, it was just 3 credits of science. But to the guy who sat next to me in this huge lecture hall, Mike Brennan, this class was absolutely essential. Mike's father had been a doctor. His grandfather had been a doctor. His family fully expected him to go to medical school. So Mike Brennan was obsessed with the idea that he had to get an A in this zoology class. Now, the professor of this class in this large lecture hall was Professor Ivankovich. You might say he was just a bit austere, but on the day of the final examination, Professor Ivankovich walked down the long aisle to the front of the lecture hall, and then he proceeded to take a stack of papers, and he walked to each student's desk and put 1 sheet of paper on each desk. On that sheet of paper were 12 boxes, and in each box was a diagram of a bird footprint. And at the top of the test it says, identify each bird by genus and species. Now, Mike Brennan went into a cold sweat. He thought, what is this? Did I miss a day? In my notes, were there 2 pages stuck together? And he just freaked out. Well, he got up, he took that sheet of paper, he walked all the way down the aisle to Professor Ivankovich. And he stood in front of Professor Ivankovich and he said, who ever heard of identifying birds by looking at their footprint? And Professor Ivankovich said, young man, I suggest you take your seat because this test is 30% of your final grade. And Mike Brennan said, I'm not going to take this test. This is crazy. And he threw the sheet of paper right at the professor. Mike turned around. He walked all the way up the aisle in this big lecture hall. Just as he was getting to the door leading out, he had his hand on the doorknob, and Professor Ivankovich said, young man, what's your name? And Mike Brennan turned around, he lifted up his foot, and he said, you figure it out. So that's the teaching moment that I savor. You can have your own. Good luck to you, graduates of 2011.
Thank you, Mark, for your message to our graduates, and very important message, especially this foot thing. Let's give him another round of applause, please. At this time, I am pleased to introduce your Winter 2011 class speaker, Benjamin Hedquist. Ben is a native of Stevens Point. He's majoring in jazz studies performance and applied strings double bass. He is the son of Pat and Susan Hedquist and grandson of Lola Hedquist. Could Pat, Susan, and Lola please stand, because they are a Pointer alumni and we'd like to recognize them. Thank you. At UW Stevens Point, Ben has shared his musical talent as a bassist with the Jazz Ensemble, Symphony Orchestra, Wind Ensemble, and Percussion Ensemble. He has also performed in several jazz combos and as a member of the Central Wisconsin Symphony Orchestra. He also shares his love with youth as a teaching artist with the Very Young Composers Project and as an instructor of the double bass both on and off campus. He is a member of the Jazz Society and a volunteer with the music department and local churches. A winner of the Chancellor Leadership Award, he has also earned the highest honors and several scholarships. Ben plans to graduate and go on to graduate school next year with a long-term goal of teaching music at a university and performing professionally. It is hopefully my hope and dream that he finds his way back to this fine institution that we call home. Please help me welcome Benjamin Hedquist.
Thank you for the introduction, Vice Chancellor Thompson. I originally applied at UWSP as a Bachelor of Science. This was short-lived as I changed to a Bachelor of Music at my freshman orientation. Throughout my first year at UWSP, I was a music major, but still undecided as to what I ultimately wanted to do. I was considering the possibility of being a music education or a music performance major, taking bass lessons and playing in the UWSP Symphony Orchestra to work towards that. I was also playing in the Jazz Lab band and taking jazz combo class. Through jazz combo class, I met a group of music students who had asked me to join a group that they were putting together to play out in the community. I decided to join, apparently giving the pianist in the group the impression that I was interested in a jazz studies major. He mentioned to the professor and director of jazz studies, Matthew Bookman, that I was considering pursuing this major, when in actuality, I had never thought about this or was in any way interested. Matt Bookman requested a meeting with me to discuss my future in the jazz studies program, and despite my lack of interest, I decided to meet with him. I left the meeting with a new perspective on what a jazz major was about and had decided to give it some more thought. In the fall of my sophomore year, I went into the new school year with a new love for jazz and a desire to learn about it. So I decided to audition for the jazz studies major with a performance emphasis. Despite my lack of experience, I was accepted into the program my first time auditioning. The next semester, I dove right into my jazz studies coursework with the full intention of continuing to grow as a classical musician throughout my college career. I was approached by many of the string faculty members the following semester who urged me to consider a classical performance degree as well. I decided to audition next semester and once again was accepted in my first attempt. I could have never guessed the impact those decisions would have on my life or how right the decision to go to school for music at UWSP would turn out to be. The opportunities I was presented with in my time here have been extremely valuable. Having the chance to be involved with orchestra, jazz ensemble, student recitals, studio projects, the Very Young Composers Project, and teaching through continuing education have helped me develop skills as a musician, as a professional, and as a person. My two majors have allowed me to work with many of the music faculty members at UWSP. I've been able to not only learn from them, but also work alongside them in performance, composition lesson, and typical classroom settings. I was encouraged not only to be active in school activities, but to seize opportunities outside of school, taking chances and auditioning for professional groups, soloist competitions, and submitting pieces for composition competitions. Perhaps it is the people here that set UWSP apart from all other universities the most. I know that's what made the biggest difference for me anyway. Without them, I may have ended up a math major. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But now I can't imagine myself as anything but a bass player, and it's all because students and faculty here took an interest in me. I never would have dreamed that I could have had the chance to do all of the things I have done here. These opportunities have truly prepared me for the real world. The lessons I've learned, responsibilities I've taken on, and the influence of these great people, students and faculty, will be with me as I move on to graduate school and my professional life after school. I know many of you have had experiences like mine. You've received countless opportunities to grow professionally and personally. You've worked with professors who have gone above and beyond and push you to reach your full potential, or even discover potential you never knew was there. You've met other students who have given you new perspectives at the very least. I hope some of these students have turned into lifelong friends. As you move on into the real world, I ask that you reflect on your experiences you've had here at UWSP and the people you've met, and take it all to heart. Keep these memories with you as you leave, whether you're moving back home, going to graduate school, or entering the job market. College has been more than just about going to class. It has also been about gaining valuable experiences, meeting new people, and starting a career. A final word of advice: don't forget to thank the people who have helped you prepare for this day and what it means. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dave Story, Matthew Bookman, and Charles Young for teaching and inspiring me over the last 5.5 years. My friends that I've had the chance to meet and learn so much from. My amazing girlfriend Katie and her family for all the support they've given me. And my own family for being there for me my whole life and supporting all the decisions I've made. And thanks to all of you for listening. Congratulations, class of 2011. Best wishes.
Thank you, Ben, and congratulations to you and your classmates. We are now ready to confer the degrees. Will the candidates for the master's degree please rise? Chancellor Patterson, on behalf of the graduate faculty members of the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, it is my privilege to present the December 2011 candidates for the master's degree. The graduate faculty members and I recommend that, contingent upon the completion of all degree requirements, each candidate be conferred with the master's degree and, in testimony thereto, be given the diploma of this university.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, and upon the recommendation of the graduate faculty members of this university, I confer upon you the master's degree with all the honors and privileges that pertain thereto. Congratulations.
Candidates, please remain standing. The faculty representatives who will be participating in the hooding ceremony, please meet your candidates at the bottom of the stairs. Marshals, please escort the master's degree candidates forward.
College of Professional Studies, Master of Science in Education General. Amy J. Dorhorst is being hooded by Patty Coral. Stephen M. Cakes, Patty Coral. Michelle L. Casaconis is being hooded by Patty Caro. Kaoli Lorher is being hooded by Patty Carroll. Anne Marie Ninneman is being hooded by Patty Carroll. Roberta A. Windus, hooded by Patty Carroll. Trish Ann W. Zdroik is being hooded by Patty Carroll. Master of Science in Human and Community Resources. Alicia M. Gady is being hooded by Dr. Sterling Wall. Jamie K. Van Galder is being hooded by Yasha Steinmetz. Master of Science in Nutritional Sciences. Angela Renee Fox is being hooded by Annie Wetter.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree in the College of Professional Studies please stand? Chancellor Patterson, these awesome students who are ready to enter their professions with integrity, creativity, and passion are candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Professional Studies. I recommend that they receive their diploma of this university as long as they successfully complete their requirements and the bachelor's degrees be conferred upon them. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, graduates and guests. I'm Jeff Morin, Dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communication. Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Fine Arts and Communication please stand? Chancellor Patterson, these are the students of Fine Arts and Communication, and they're ready to enter the world. Their friends and family are also ready for them to graduate. I recommend that, contingent upon the successful completion of all requirements, they receive the degree of this university, and that the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Music, or the Bachelor of Science be conferred upon each of them. Now, will all baccalaureate candidates from the College of Professional Studies stand with the students of Fine Arts and Communication?
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, and upon the recommendation of the faculty members of this university, I confer upon you the baccalaureate degree with all the honors and privileges that pertain thereto. Congratulations.
Candidates may be seated. Marshals, please escort baccalaureate degree candidates forward.
College of Professional Studies, Bachelor of Arts. Amy Jo Brown. Tony Clements. Jordan Davis. James Draxler, Andrew Ritchie, Sarah Aschenbrenner, Bachelor of Science, Tracy Baker, Brandon Byhofer, Heather L. Banky, Leah Black, Corey Block, Brooke Borkert, Chelsea Brown, Funren Tsi, David Caldwell, Tanakit Chantavat, Kai Chen, Zhao Nan Chen, Yi La Chen, Yi Sheng Shua, Nikki Colthurst, Justin Crandall, Corey Crook, Kyle Crook, Sarah Dulkey, Matthew Dahlquist, Holly Dahl, Amber Davis, Andrew Matthias Delau IV, Alan Eichstead, Alyssa Evans, Corey Eben, Kevin Flynn, Christina Lee Fritz, Allison M. Gerandal, Maggie Gobach, Sarah Ray Groff, Nikki Gravine, Kayla Halverson, Luke Haas, Aaron Hayden, Kyle Hermans, Nathan Hilgart, Thomas Reed Heft, Christina Hoppy, Sarah Huntoon, Cassie Huss, Savannah Huss, Sarah Hightree, Samantha Isberner, Megan Johnson, Jenna Jorstad, Mark Gentvet, Emily Claysmith, Miranda Keppel, Michelle Kolbeck, Samantha Ann Cohn, Courtney Kutnick, Mark Kromenacher, Elizabeth Croas, Christopher Kruk, Michael D. Krieger, Ping Ping Lai, Jennifer Larson. Ryan Laswell. Kristen Locks. Kelly Lee. Brooke Lip. Jocelyn Lutz. Courtney Manicky. Christopher Marks. Mallory Martins. Courtney Meidel. Andrew Eric Minall. Maria Marzuk. Kristen Minster. Casey Moroder. Tennille Myers. Haley Nija. Brittany Nellison. Adam Nooker. Matthew Olp. Jennifer Olson. Aaron Paprocki. Megan Lee Palmer. Lauren Parkins. Brittany Patry. Kelsey Peters. Courtney Pertusky. Shane Prozinski. David Reamer. Katie Reamer. Jenna Rock. Donald Gregory Rosine II. Samantha Rotar. Justin Charles Rustick. Jillian Saul. Lindsay Satina. Will Sherry. Christy Schleiwitz. Jessica Schneider. Scott Schreck. Thomas Shug. Bliss Sanabush. Stephen Sensenbrenner. Andrew Sevenick. Roberta Smith. Kaylee Sorensen. Sage Stanchik. Casey Scheinhofer. Kelsey Strutsberry. Wendy Stroik. Steve Swerdiski. Matthew Teskey. Yer To. Kevin Thomas. Cody Thorson. Holly Tomaszewski. Jessica Tomaszewski. Deborah Townsend. Katie Jo Turner. Richard Toomey. Tyler Ullman. Megan Utek. Crystal Van Asten. Megan Van Hoof. Tracy Vogt. Matthew Weber-Paul. C.L. Whiteside. Joel Wazerba. Whitney Wilkinson. Stephanie Wolf. Lauren Wood. Dongni Wang. Wei Chu. Adam Wangmeng Yang. Yichen Liu. David Zastro. Kaylee Zdroik. Chengwei Tsi. Melissa Zipperer. College of Fine Arts and Communication, Bachelor of Arts. Joshua Becker. Christina Doyle. Bradley Dunai. Jennifer Feltz. Vaughn Forsyth. Laura Michelle Gang. Sherry Getchman. Anela Yadviga Ruth Kanofsky. Tiffany Koschel. Sean M. Kruger. Jackie Lutzy. Doug Peterson. Callista Phelan. Stephen Prozeniak. Bonnie Schwab. Ryan Sandkyle. Corey Stewart. Amanda Strumkowski. Ariel Wagner. Kimberly Westover. Kurt White. Christopher John Walco. Dan J.I. Bachelor of Fine Arts, Rachel Anderson. Nathan Freeberg. Meredith Latimer. Cassandra D. Johnson. Isaac Strasberg. Carly Wilkie. Bachelor of Music, Allison Barrett. Shelley Bittner. Benjamin Hedquist. Jacob Kulba and Professor Bob Erickson will be presenting the diploma to his nephew. Adrian Ledvina. Forrest Mann. Chelsea Needfelt. Ellen Sovey. Ryan Tomsky. Bachelor of Science, Victoria Brodnowski. Ashley Kelnhofer. Emily Maxwell. Alex Rosnowski. Tyler David Schneider.
Graduates, you may move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard to signify your graduation. Make some more noise. Congratulations, class of 2011. Wow. Well, now it is my pleasure to introduce Ray Oswald, the president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Ray has served on the board since 1999, just 2 years after receiving his degree at UW-Stevens Point. He is also involved in his local Milwaukee chapter and his 10th Reunion Steering Committee. He is a legislative advocate for UW-Stevens Point and has chaired the Alumni Board's Communications Committee. He helped make UW-Stevens Point one of the first UW campuses to have an online alumni community. His efforts to promote the university through Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter have kept alumni connected and engaged with the campus and with each other. Ray works for Fiserv Incorporated in Milwaukee as Vice President for Business Solutions and Consulting. Please welcome Ray Oswald.
Thank you, Chancellor Patterson. Greetings and congratulations to each of you from the UW-Stevens Point Alumni Association. I got to tell you, it feels great to be here today. I feel honored to share this day with you, and being here brought back a lot of memories of when I was in your seat about 14 years ago. I was also excited to begin the next chapter of my life, as I know you're eager to begin yours. In doing so, I just want to make sure that we know that I'll keep my comments brief because you've got a lot of celebrating to do this afternoon. After all, let's face it, I'm about 100 minutes into a 110-minute ceremony, and I'm serving as your B2B, not business to business, but barrier to beer. So we'll get on with the show. Saying that UWSP is a special place is such an understatement. It's a place that changed my life, and it's also changed yours. It's a place where we learned how to learn. It's a place where we built lasting foundations for personal and professional relationships. And if you're like me, UWSP is also a place where you probably paid a few more parking tickets than you thought you normally would have. But honestly, when I come back to Point, I get goosebumps every time. It's because Point is not just a place. It's a community, and it's a family. There isn't much in life that's permanent, maybe not even that tattoo that you got your freshman year when you first came here, but being a Pointer is permanent, and I'll tell you, I'm proud to be a Pointer. Today we're recognizing and celebrating the fact that you're all part of an integral part of the UWSP family. You are one of over 77,000 alumni of UW-Stevens Point, and you're one of the university's most important ambassadors. Our alumni collectively constitute a major force in maintaining and shaping the reputation of this university. Pointers are everywhere. In fact, I know there are Pointers among us today, not just those graduates in the seats in front, but surrounding us in the ceremony this afternoon. So my fellow Pointers, please stand up proud and join me in giving the graduating class one more round of applause. If you don't mind. Thank you. Like I said, Pointers are everywhere, and we're a good time when we're out there in the real world as well. There are Pointers actually in 110 countries around the globe. In just my small circle of friends, we've literally met new Pointers we didn't know before on all 7 continents of the globe. So when you're out there, talk about Point, brag about UWSP, share your experiences, build new relationships, and please stay connected. The value of your degree is going to continue to increase more and more as more people learn about this great university. Our hope at the Alumni Association is that we can help you stay in touch with former classmates and friends, and also help you meet other alumni who have graduated from Stevens Point, so that in turn can help you make your mark both personally and professionally on the state, the nation, and the world. All of our alums share memories of their years here at UWSP and in turn have contributed to the success of our campus. I urge you to continue to think of yourself as a vital participant in the future of our alma mater. We always welcome your support and your involvement and your ideas. The Alumni Association is here to strengthen the ties between you and your fellow Pointers and between you and your university home. You are now lifetime members of the UWSP Alumni Association, and with that comes some benefits. First of all, you can always attend alumni functions in your home area if you're visiting someone. They're a good time. They provide invaluable connection opportunities to get to know other Pointers. They help renew old friendships and develop new ones at the same time. You're always welcome to come back for a visit. Take advantage of career services, continuing education opportunities, and special events like homecoming and many others that are held here on campus for all alumni. Please stay connected online. The UWSP Alumni Association has an online community and a Facebook page just for Pointers. Our Facebook page is relatively new. It's grown to over 500 people in just the last couple of months, and I really hope after this weekend we'll be able to double that. We also have other electronic methods to keep in touch. Our LinkedIn community has about 2,500 people registered, and we have over 5,000 folks registered in our online community called the Connecting Point. So those are opportunities where you can update your information, your contact information in just a couple of seconds. Also, as an alum, you can receive discounts on insurances and a free email forwarding address at uwsp.edu, so that makes it easier to keep in touch with everyone throughout the years. Please check out our site at the webpage at uwsp.edu/alumni. Also, please support the university, assist us in recruiting new high school students, and be our link to them. Let us know how we can help them make a decision to come to Stevens Point. Lastly, keep us informed. Tell us your bragging rights. As a member of the association, you'll receive mailings and news from campus from time to time, but in order for us to send those to you, we need to know your contact information. So please keep that up to date in the database. You didn't get this far without a support network of friends and family, and now you're part of an even larger network of 77,000 alumni. Wherever your talents take you after you leave the campus today, remember that UWSP will always be your home. Come back often, please stay in touch, and my heartfelt congratulations to each of you. Thank you.
Well, as we come to the close of our ceremony today, it is tradition at our university for the Chancellor to issue a charge to the graduating class. And so I will do just that. I ask, what would you expect me to say to you today as you walk out these doors? You might expect me to say you should go out and be a leader, which you are and which you will do. You may expect me to say that you should put your education to good use, which I know you will. You might expect me to say you should make this world a better place, which I, of course, hope you do. But these are the same thoughts that are being expressed at commencement exercises across this country. UWSP is no ordinary university, and your experience here has been anything but ordinary. So I say to you simply this: reach out to those who are alone. Speak up for those who have no voice. Stand up for those who cannot stand. One final thought. The day will come, it will surely come, when you are confronted with an ethical dilemma. There will be no one to show you the way. There will be no instruction manual. There will be no one to lean on. There will be no one to ask. There will be no one to go to, no one to text, no one to call. and you will feel alone, perhaps more so than you ever have in your life. At that moment, at that very moment, when it is up to you, what you will have is your foundation. What you will have to stand upon when that time comes is your education and your faith in God. Now go and be servant leaders. Godspeed. Congratulations to the class of 2011.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we leave today, we ask you to stand and join vocal performance major Allison Barrett of Verona, who earned her Bachelor of Music degree today, and she will lead us in singing our alma mater, The Purple and the Gold, printed on page 29 of your commencement pamphlet. She will be joined by the Wind Ensemble.
Other schools of valor boast of victories galore, of laurels never lost, of triumphs by the score. Let them know of their prowess, of warriors strong and bold, but their colors ever lower to the purple and the gold. Alma mater, our Wisconsin, dear Stevens Point we toast, recalling former times of challenge and repose on the banks of old Wisconsin. Alumni glories told, we pledge our allegiance to the purple and the gold.
The audience may be seated. Marshals, please release our faculty members and the graduates by row after the platform party has recessed. The audience is asked to please remain seated during the recessional. Thank you.